Alright, welcome back to Arifureta Anime Review, episode number 36. Yeah, we're officially at the end of Season 3. Now, it took a while to get here, but here we are. Yes, we're at the end of the longest season of the entire series. It has the most episodes, more than the previous two seasons. This is the first season, definitely longer than the previous season show. So here's what happens episode. So we open up with the group all going into Vesta's mansion. Doors open up by themselves. They briefly see the owner of the mansion. He doesn't say anything. This is the illusion of him. And then they go to a room where they activate some magic circle. It's not really clear what this room is, because the book barely brought this up at all. And I don't blame the anime for this. It's like, so they step in the circle, Hajime and you scream and they fell unconscious. Kaori basically sort of heals them in a way. And then we cut to Hajime in bed and you on top of him, and she's butt naked. Yes, this happened in book 2. And he's like, what are you doing? Now, in the book, he says, wake up kiss. In the anime, it's a good morning kiss. And then there's Shia and Kaori basically trying to get these two basically away from each other. And there's a little bit more here where basically how Kaori basically using restraints on Shia. Because the fact that every time these two are near each other, from their perspective, it's like they gotta have sex every time. And they say Tia was the pervert. You was more pervert than she is, given the fact this always happens. And then they go apparently get dressed. Now, when in the world? Now, here's the thing: the book does not say these two got dressed at all. Not at all. The anime presented the fact they basically were in bed together, which, yes, they were carried in bed. There was no mention of the fact these two were both stripped butt naked. That was made up for the anime. Oh yeah, definitely. It was completely made up. Which way the shot presented you, that's the first time people have seen her like that. Since her debut appearance in episode 2 of the anime. Yes, a lot of references to season 1 and 2 of this episode. We'll get to that. So, by the way, Kaguki, the hero, he's off in the room sleeping. So, they have basically seen position change, which I'm not bothered by it. Like, where Tori's on the floor, here she's standing, she is basically in between. It's fine. They discuss, various stuff, like possibly going back to Demon Kingdom to go for Eri. And using the whole thing, explain the whole thing with the magic they basically gathered throughout the entire series at this point. Yeah, and for some reason also, we do see, believe it or not, we see all the previous labyrinths they conquered throughout the entire series so far, including some from season 1. Like when he first met Oscar back at episode 4 and 5, basically, what's her name? The one who's the main character of Freya Zero. Yeah, we see her again, even though it's a flashback. It's mostly, but it's like, you could say this episode is 20% stock footage. Because literally it's stock footage of the previous seasons. Go see that from season 1 and season 2 this season. It is mostly put just all about the labyrinths. Because the labyrinth, this is the last one. Which, interesting. And after they explain the magic stuff, and then they go make the circle, make this whatever thing they're making. And then, of course, basically, Koki basically, they do have a conversation with him, which is a good conversation. Shizu basically, the fact that she does admit to him that he actually is in love with Hajime, he is shocked the fact here about this. And, of course, they do bring up the whole thing about the brainwash thing, which, yes, the book does have this too. And then some stuff happens in the room that Hajime and you in. They get there, and then more stock footage. Yes, this is a little stock footage because basically this is from episode 1 of the show, when Hajime, when he first lost his arm, when he ate the monster guts and had his hair turn white. Mostly put, it's them reacting to it, which, fine. It's just that this is not new footage that they basically made for this episode. This is stock footage. Which I'm sure anybody will watch the show, like, why are we watching stock footage for? Because, yeah, all the flashbacks are literally stock footage in the previous season of the show. Because why not? And then the object making apparently is a key. Corey heals them, and then of course they open the key up. Now in the book, basically, when they opened the key up, they saw Shia's father punishing the elder's granddaughter, which they mentioned in the episode. Yeah, they cut this moment out. Not sure why. It's like the key opens up very briefly. We don't see anything in the other side. In the book, basically, it's Cam, Shia's father. He is mentioned in the episode, but he's not here. It's weird that we mention two characters and we don't have a physical appearance by them. Even if the appearance was very, very brief. Like, very brief. And then, like, so I think it was Shuzu Rigoki, I think his name is. They go to a forest, see a monster, see a portal opening up, which is interesting to say the least. Now, that thing was made for the anime, and then eventually they come back, apparently, like, off-screen. And then they go to, like, this lake or whatever. They go to, like, I think the platform they were on were just in the previous episode, after first being the mansion. We don't see much of the mansion at all. Yeah, that's the thing. The mansion itself, the interior, we don't see much. We see, basically, 2 stairways, a couple, like, basically, like, 3 rooms. We see, like, a bedroom, we see a sitting room, and we see a room magic circle. I'm like, that's it? That's all we see? It's a big mansion, and yet we don't see much of it. And, yeah, this is actually, like I said, this is one of those cases where it's not the anime's fault for that. We don't get a chance to see more of this mansion. It's the book's fault that we don't spend much time here. And then they get their own shortcut out of the place via an ice dragon, which is really cool. The dragon is literally made of ice. They all get on it, and they fly off. Credits roll, and then after the credits, and then we see Eri with dark angel wings, white hair, freed, and a bunch of apostles. Now this is in the book. That part is true. But in the actual book itself, the cast saw this. This is probably just a tease. I mean, you watch this post-credit scene, which, by the way, this scene, it is literally 20 seconds. It is really, really short. It's almost like they ran out of time with this episode. I tend to think that this episode probably should have been a little bit longer than 20 minutes. Like, if I were Astrid, I would have made this season... Well, I would make this episode. I would have made it. Excuse me. I would have made this episode roughly 30 minutes. I would give it another 5 minutes, or make it about 40 minutes, because the stuff they cut, I don't think it's much an issue. Of course, they do cut the mention about, oh yeah, the fact that you was a princess, that was from the last episode, which I think the last episode did cover a portion of the beginning of the chapter. This is from, by the way, the title of the episode is called Key to the World, which is telephone episode. Which, by the way, is the illustration from the book is a you butt naked? No, he's wearing a shirt. Yeah. In case you're curious, though, the chapter itself for Key to the World, it is roughly about 68 pages, I think it is. The anime does cover the rest of it. It skips the opening pages of the chapter. It's a pretty good episode. It's nice. This episode definitely feels like a wrap-up, not for the series. I don't think the series ends here, given what we saw for the post-credit scene. This is not a fun episode. This is definitely a season finale episode. Yes, it feels like it, but I think that this should have been longer. Like I said, if I were the production team of this episode, if I was a producer, I would say, okay, we need to have more time with this episode. We need to have at least a little bit more screen time. And possibly maybe season 4, which that has not been announced yet. Yeah, that's not been announced yet, but I do like the episode. I do not think it was terrible. This is definitely okay conclusion to the season. Definitely. That's how I feel about it. But now on to final thoughts on this season. I would definitely say this season, up until this very episode, was really good. Yeah, they did a fantastic job with this season. Do I think the final episode felt a bit rushed? A little bit, but not entirely too bad. Did I think cutting Cam from the episode, was that basically offensive to the book? Not really, no. I didn't think basically his appearance was necessary. Just focus on the characters, fine. I would say good meat of the story is fine. I thought it was kind of weird. They kind of rearranged the chapter a little bit. Yes, I was reading the chapter like, wait, the magic circle scene, like, okay, that happens later on in the chapter. They moved up. They kind of rearranged the chapter a little bit in the episode, which I thought that was kind of interesting. But part of that, the season was really good. They did roughly 4 books, which is the first time since season 1 they did this. Though they didn't exactly complete adapting book 4. Yeah, they have all but the epilogue. Yes, they decided to do something interesting with the epilogue book for book 4. They split the epilogue up across several episodes of the previous season. Like, do I think the series definitely was an improvement animation-wise over the previous season, which aired just a few years ago? Yes, definitely. The animation was getting much better this season. I do think the animation was better because I think them doing it on their own this season was definitely a smart idea. The music was really good. I thought it was really, like, okay, I'll get to more negatives in a minute. So another positive is I think the writing is pretty solid. I'm glad that they keep a lot of stuff from these light novels in here, which good job on that. I think the voice acting is still top notch. The monsters, the ones here didn't look like they were CGI this season. No, I think they really have slowed it down. For one thing, they actually look a lot better than the previous season. At least they look terrible. The weapons look a little more, but they're not under CG this time, which good on the anime for doing that. I would say it's a much more solid season than the previous one. I definitely think it was a smart idea for Ash to make the 16 episodes compared to previous seasons, where like 13 or 12, for like roughly 13 episodes apiece. I do agree that was a smart idea on their part. Yes. Negatives. There was a scene in the season that I am very surprised. I was very surprised when it aired, and the fact that the scene was unaltered for the anime. Princess Valentina's attempted rape scene. Yes, this is from book 7, and the anime did a good job keeping it in. They didn't spice it up. From what I can tell, they probably were told to keep it in, probably by the writer of the book. They probably had no choice in the matter. Though I would have, I think in the case of the scene itself, I didn't necessarily think it needed a trigger warning, the fact that there's going to be some dangerous moments in the episode. I didn't think that. I think if you watch the scene itself, you can clearly see, yeah, he's here the raper. Which, good on the anime basically for presenting it that way. That it was quite obvious this would happen. The episode opened up with the scene, which good on them for doing that. because even they know not to do repeat what Goblin Slayer did, because it's something that a lot of people do criticize the studio for that one. But that's how it is there. Do I think it might be OVAs? Yes, it probably will be. But, okay, some negatives that we have here, per se, for the season. My first negative is the epilogue from Book 7 was skipped. Yes, for some reason they skipped it. Because one can tell they did definitely kind of skip it for some reason. It's like it's mentioned happened between episodes. But I'm like, why would you skip it for? I thought that was kind of weird. Also, I did think it was really cool that the Emperor is voiced by the current actor who voices Mort from Case Closed. I thought that was really cool. Any other negative? Runtime for the episode was fine. I did not have a problem with the runtime. This last episode should have been slightly longer, given the material they had here. It should have been longer. Yes. Another negative I had with the season, the production delay. Because of the fact that 2024, when it comes to anime, we had 4 shows had to be delayed because of production issues. This one is Hunter Girls Dungeon, One Piece, but there was a reason for that one, but it was delayed production, and Our Last Creator Rise of the World. These 4 shows, for some strange reason, we had to delay them because of production issues. Yes. And I have pointed to the animation side. That was probably the reason for the delay. At least everything else has come back. One Piece said to come back in just a couple months. But Alaska Rise in the World, there's no signs that show come back. I haven't seen it come back at all. I mean, the whole season's all dubbed. I don't know why the fact that the show hasn't come back yet. I mean, it's been hiatus for several months now. I would have thought it would come back. It just hasn't. Okay, so any negative aside from the production issues and skipping over to the epilogue season 3 book. Oh, another negative I have. Why the heck did we change the opening theme song? Yes, this is the first season when they changed the opening theme song, and they changed it after only having for the first 9 episodes. And then for some reason we decided to replace it with a song called Compass. I didn't think the song was terrible. It's just that I'm like, what was so wrong with Daylight? I thought it was a fantastic song. Yeah, that was no negative I had with it. Just replacement of the opening song for no reason. The ending is mostly the same. Yes. Anything else? That's it for negative front. Last thought I have is, do I think there might be a season 4, and is there material for season 4? If there is going to be season 4, I'd say that will be a yes. Yes, I do think it'll be season 4, given the fact there's still more light novels to adapt. If you're curious, there are 4 left. Yep, 4 left. Books 11 to 14. Not 13, 14. There is a 14th book coming. It has released in Japan. I've seen the cover for it. You want proof? Like, oh yeah, Nick, your point. The 13 was the last book. No. That's the cover of book 14. My guess is the English title will probably just have the Japanese characters in English like it is for this book. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen there. Yes. Now, if you're curious, when was this released in Japan? It was released in Japan on Christmas Day. Yep, on Christmas Day is when this was released, which was roughly almost 2 months ago. As for why in the world they decided to not release it yet, not sure. If you're curious, how long ago was Book 13 released here? Book 13 was released here digitally wise, roughly almost 2 years ago, and physical book wise, which I like the physical books better. Excuse me. The physical book was released in October 2023, which was like 1 year and about 4 months ago. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do think basically like this book probably released here. When? Not sure. But I'm hoping this year. I hope so, because I really want to read that book 14 because that's the epilogue. Though, one thing I hope for season 4, number one, do not be 13 episodes. No, do not be that much. If you have 4 books left, it needs to be longer. Given how long these later books are, I would suggest the very next season be 30 episodes. Or at least about that much, because if you don't have this next season cover be that much, you're going to offend the light novel readers if you don't have it longer. I do appreciate this last season was longer. Yes. I very much appreciated that. I kind of predicted we'd get the book 9. I was kind of surprised it got this book. Yeah, covering this book was a surprise. I did not expect book 10 to be adapted. I don't think anybody expected the book to be adapted. And even Amanda Lee, she's the voice of Shia. Yes, she's the voice of Shia. And even she was surprised the fact I got this far. And by the way, she actually has a video of people not recognizing her because of her hair color being different, and the fact she looked a lot much like her avatar Monarch when she's a VTuber. I knew that this was Amanda Lee. I knew right away it was her because I've seen her face online a lot. So I recognized right away. Like, I knew this was Amanda Lee. I knew it was her. I mean, I didn't ask if it's Amanda Lee because people didn't recognize her right away. I did. Even though I've never before, but I did recognize her right away because I've seen a picture before, so I have a pretty good idea what she looked like, and I was proven to be right. One thing I was surprised about was basically her hair color was different because basically, generally when I've seen pictures of her, she's always had white hair. Now it's brown-ish, which she mentioned in a YouTube video recently about that, and I'm kind of surprised she didn't mention me. I did post a picture of me with her, which I could show off here because basically we're talking about Freya because she's in Freya and she loves this show. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she does. She loves the show. Like, oh Shia! That's her. That is generally her. Yep. And she was awesome. Yes, I love meeting this woman. Yeah. Pure awesomeness. The fact that I got a chance to meet her. And the fact that people I was with, basically in line, didn't realize that was Amanda Lee. I knew it was. I was probably the only person who did. And she appreciated the fact that I brought a Freya for her to sign because she's one of the stars of the show. Of course I'm bringing her to sign. She was very happy to sign it. And yes, she does know about the fact that when people talk about the series, people do talk about that one scene of Hajime putting a rod, basically take a metal rod and put it up Teal's rear end. Yes, I did talk about that, and yes, she does agree with me when people talk about that's the first thing you talk about is that one scene. Which, that happened late in season 1. That wasn't the start of the show. People talk about the fact that some of the adaptation feasible was rushed. Yeah. But she was very appreciative about that. Yes. And I believe she is one of, at the top of my head, roughly 2 people who's been in the show I have met. Excuse me. The only person I met who would have been in the show is Justin Brenner, who didn't really appear. His character does not appear much in the series. I think it's going to be a little more if they do a fourth season because, well, he does play a role in the last few books of the series. But he is the only person I've met who've actually been in the series. I haven't met anybody else. I have not met the active I've not met Tia Ballard, who voices you. Never met her. Anybody else. Just Shia and who the character Sprinter plays. That's what people I've met working who basically did the dub for the show. Yep. But I should probably wrap up here because it's getting late. I'm sorry I keep rattling on, but yeah. I think that's pretty much it to discuss. So, as for if there's going to be any more seasons of the show, I hope so. Because like I said, there is still material. 4 books. Astrid, please make an announcement next few months. Like, if you want to take about 2 years making a season, that's fine. I have no issue with that. Just, maybe put on an OVA or 2 this year. Like, by the way, the last OVA I talked about for this series was actually an adaptation of a short story from the short story book. Do I think it will have an OVA? Yes, I think we will. Probably in this year. I mean, the Konosuba's coming to OVA in like a couple months, so I'm looking forward to that one. So, also as of right now, Monday is down to 1 anime. Gonna start it next week. We're just down to 1. Headhunted. That's it. I'm sorry they get a chance to view it tonight, so I'll get a chance to view it tomorrow, along with some more Kamen Rider O's. Okay? So, that's it, particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the like button. So, see you all tomorrow. Bye.